Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast. We are Roni and Nor. We are an Israeli spiritual couple, if you can say it like that. And our journey began in 2017 when we woke up from the Matrix, began our spiritual awakening. Nor started it, and I joined her after a few months. And ever since then, we started our journey, and it was quite fascinating and challenging.
Yeah.
And today we're going to talk in this podcast about Israel's condition, Israel's the reason why Israel consciousness level is so poor, why the Israeli population is in such
a low frequency.
Yeah, low frequency.
That keeps them.
And what will prevent them from enlightening and understanding their situation consciousness-wise, because their situation here is, let's say it like that, is consciously-wise, is really, really poor. Not that there are wars over here and everybody's killing everybody over here.
This is the
narrative that they're selling outside of us, that everything is collapsing over here, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's just that the consciousness, we want to talk about the consciousness level, why the consciousness level in Israel is so poor, is so low, as the spiritual path is not even open for the Israeli population. It's been like that for generations. And on this podcast, we're going to explain why. So, good morning, Nor.
Good morning, Roni.
First of all, we are a married couple. We've been together since the year 2000.
Yeah.
21 years. Wow.
Yeah. We have 3 kids.
Yes. 3 beautiful kids. And ever since we started this journey, this spiritual awakening, everything changed in our life. I was in the high-tech industry. I was hardcore metrics guy. Working in an office 9 to 6, 7 p.m. Project manager on web systems, employees, budgets, all the things that come along in the high-tech industry. And Nor was a designer until she had cancer. And then her spiritual journey began, because the spiritual journey begins when something painful. You've been through something very painful, and that something, it could be anything.
Yeah.
It was a trigger. Would you like to tell about it?
Yeah.
A little bit? A little bit. Okay.
Well, I always see my life all the time in a spiritual way, but I haven't have all the tools to put a finger and to explain myself what I am experiencing in my life. I decided to take the road of the God, Elohim, that is part of the Jewish community, we can call it.
Tradition.
Tradition. Yeah. And I thought that God is my answer. I didn't understand God as I understand today. And I thought that I need to keep all the rules by the Torah and everything. Of course, we were Chilonim, which in Hebrew is non-religious people. But my family is really religious, so I follow that path in my heart, of course, with nobody that knows about it. Until that day that I got sick and I was in the hospital with three kids at home, and I start asking questions, where is that God? Why, when I doing everything by the rules and being
by the
book, and being a good girl and doing all positively, and everything.
You were following all the instructions of the Bible.
Yeah, and
basically.
And then I start asking questions at the hospital and start doing meditation. It's something I haven't done since until that point.
Why did you do the meditations?
I don't know why exactly. I just sit
the meditation
down, and I don't know why, some kind of somebody whisper in my ears that
Your
it's time
inner
for
voice
myself.
told you.
Exactly. My inner voice said that I need to experience something else and seek for answers that I couldn't get from any rabbi or anybody else outside of me. And I start asking myself inside questions. Who am I? What am I doing here? Why am I in the hospital? And why God gave me this punishment that was, of course, the creation of my new self. I was Eleanor before the surgery and the cancer. And after that, I was just Nor. Of course, it took time. It wasn't like immediately change. But through all this experience, when I started doing meditation, I start getting downloads that says that everything is connected and I am the God that I'm working through the Bibles and through the all rules of the Jewish.
Now that's interesting because everybody gets that during the first meditations. They feel something else, like I did, and I was hardcore Matrix. Like I wouldn't feel nothing. I was like a robot. And the first meditations are the ones that you get that feeling from inside that you have a power inside of you, but you don't know how to manage it. It's like huge energy, right?
It's a huge energy. I felt like somebody came, which was myself, I guess, like a couple of entities that I was connected and still connected to them. And they were told me that I need to start living my life, that they showed me like in a pencil that draw all this world in one line and never got up from the paper for once. So everything was connected and I was start crying and it was like some kind of enlightenment that I understand that I'm much bigger than what I thought. And they like seeded thoughts, and I don't know how to explain it exactly, in my DNA that activate the concept that I can be anything and everywhere, and I am everywhere and everything, and I could become all my dreams and all my desires. It was amazing. I was like crying and I couldn't explain to anybody because Roni wasn't understand at the beginning what I'm going through, because I was in myself. I was in pain. I was all day long at bed for 1 year, I think. It was taking me to heal 1 year until I figure out what's going on, why I'm losing my Eleanor, why I'm losing myself.
You
Who
lost
am
your
I?
identity.
I lost my the identity completely.
And that's what happens when you begin your spiritual awakening. You are completely wiping all your ego, all your character, because you become aware of it.
And it's a process. It's not right away that you lose everything. But I had like a ceremony between me and Eleanor. We're like holding hands, and she's going up to some different level, and I was staying here. It was like changing. I felt like my soul was changing or updated herself. I wasn't exactly understand then what I'm going through, but as the process start to be very, how to explain it, very rough, I think, because there's times that you feel amazing and you feel like you're everything and you have the energy to do everything and you are God and your creation, your source. And then suddenly I was in the dark. I felt everything. I needed to step out of my Eleanor.
That's the dark night of the soul. Exactly. You had to confront all your shadows. Yeah. Shadows, we call it, but it's the real you. And
it's all the aspect I collected through these years about myself, about my ego, about all the things I took from my parents, from my family, from the religious part, which was very hard because I needed to explain to myself there is no such thing as God that rules, and he decide if I will be a good girl, I will get the heaven part of life, and if I will be a bad girl, I will go to
this is the challenge, to understand that, because he chose this life and he chose this path, and this is the challenge, to become aware of your power.
And not to think that you are going crazy, because this is part of the game, because everybody around me said, oh my God, she got crazy. Who she is? Oh my God, her hair look in a different color. I start coloring my hair in a different color because I felt something different. I felt like I need to be in a different vibration. Which nobody understands, but I have like inside voice, really strong one that said, you just need to start walking. We're going to show you the road. We're going to show you how to get there. We promise you, just start something. And it was really the same process as I'm.
And I was on the side looking at that, and I was saying, what the heck is this? I'm like, she's changing. She's talking different. She's talking about spirits. But
aliens.
I'm used to that, because she used to talk about spirits from the Bible side, angels and that kind of stuff. And so I'm used to that since the age of 19 that we've been together. And I'm looking at that and I'm saying, what the hell is that? So after a few months, because of the change, I thought we were breaking up, and that was my trigger. And that began my process, and this began my dark night of the soul, and all the process that Nor described. I went through it, but I think it was really, really hard for me, because I didn't know what emotion is. I mean, I knew, but I always suppressed it subconsciously, because this is how I used to do it. I used to just suppress my emotions, not talk about it to anyone.
Although I tried to teach you all these years how to do it and to express yourself.
Terrible teacher, but so that was my path. And then after a few months, I just joined her. And we began our spiritual path together.
And of course, it wasn't easy, because we started to understand each other. And he thought at the beginning he lost me. Like, I'm gone. I'm not here anymore.
Lost you and lost myself, because you're losing your mind. You lose your mind when you begin your spiritual awakening,
because you're losing your old mind.
Exactly. You start thinking in a different way. You start, I don't know how to call it. You get like
aware of your thoughts.
Different awareness. You become aware of your reality, and especially in this situation here in Israel, during the time of the COVID that began after our spiritual awakening, like everything changed. Our marriage, the reality, and then the reality during the COVID changed everything
outside of us.
Like everything was a mess, and it was really, really hard.
It's still a mess. It's still a chaotic situation in Israel.
No. In Israel, they say it's not a chaotic situation. It's okay. It's a normal stage, because
they used to suffer here.
Because we are used to, how do you say, to suffer, and to, there are wars in Israel.
Mode.
Yeah, we used to be we are regular to be in a victim mode all the time.
Yeah, we survive here.
So this was us. We are telling about us, about our spiritual path. And now let's jump to the business to talk about
these days.
Israel these days.
We're going to say that I opened a YouTube channel at the beginning in Hebrew that explain everything I'm going through, to let others knowledge that they didn't
share your knowledge.
I try to share and to reflect my own path to others, so they can understand that they are not getting crazy. This is the process for the evolution of the humankind, and this is the way we are going through. And everybody that will choose to, by his own free will, will go through. And it wasn't easy because until now, people don't really, I'm not saying everybody, but people don't really understand all the concepts that break all.
We're going to explain right now. This is the whole conversation. This is the whole podcast about understanding why the spiritual path or the enlightenment hasn't arrived to Israel yet. So let's jump into it. Okay. Since Israel was founded in 1940 something. 1948. Right. There are wars that constantly wars in an average of, let's say, 3-4 years. Okay. Wars by definitions and operations that are not defined as wars by the government because they have to pay a lot of payments to the citizens, so they define it as operation, not as war. It's different semantics, and when you live inside this reality that defines the situation, the reality as war-wise, meaning that there are wars all the time. There are a few months of quiet, and then all of a sudden there's a suicide bombing. There's a suicide bombing, and then there's
it's like waves.
Like a relief, and then there's a wave of stabbing, and then there are riots. Okay, every few months there's something else that is pushing the trigger, and it is causing you subconsciously to be in a victim mode, to be in a survival mode, because you feel anger, you feel aggression, you feel hate, you feel all the emotions that are, keeping you in a low frequency mode, in survival mode, that you think there is a predator outside that is going to kill you all the time. And I remember when I was a student, I was standing in the bus station, and there was stabbing. That was the stabbing times. People were, the Arabs were walking in the streets with knives.
Of course, not all the Arabs
not all of
are
them.
Bad, and not all of them try to stab us.
Exactly. It was that time that they were just walking in the streets and just stabbing people. And I remember that I was standing in the bus station, and they recommended in the news, it was like 12 years ago, that you shouldn't mess with your phone or talk on the phone while you're waiting for the bus, because there's a danger out there. And you need to be alert. You need to be alerted. And what happens to your body when you're in that situation? All the adrenaline and cortisol level are always, are in motion inside your body. Your whole chemistry is like lunatic inside. And this is how the population over here are kept in low vibration through the whole time, since ever Israel was founded over here. And you see it today, especially today when COVID, the world pandemic, has arrived to the world by accident. By a bat. Yeah. By of course. And you can see that the news, the media over here, and the government are keeping, they are pumping all the information, like dead people, hospitalized.
Even the music is stressful. When you open the news, you feel like, oh my God, what's going on? Everybody's going to die. You feel like, oh my God.
Now, the institution, let's call it like that, the media, the institution, the health department, they are pumping all that information. And in the middle, like every once in a while, there's a suicide bombing, there's a stabbing.
The Arab try to kill you through Gaza, through Lebanon, Jordan. We all we surrounded by enemies that want to attack us. So we all the time stay in alert mode that takes all our energy and put it in the low chakras of our body. This is the energy point that we get the knowledge from the high consciousness mind that we are. And we are in the mode that we need to be with our eyes closed even when we sleep, which is ridiculous because even our dreams got stressful. The whole existence in Israel is very tough, I have to say. We got used to live in a state that always bring us like many troubles as they can get in the news, in the media, on Facebook. We all against each other instead of come united, we and the Arabs, and understand that the Hamas and the Jihad and ISIS and all around us, all these enemies, that they are like one organization that controls Israel and all the world. We're not going to talk about the cabal and the government that control the world, because above
it's
that,
irrelevant.
I'm sure there's...
It's irrelevant.
Exactly.
This is the narrative, and
we just have to understand that they are trying to divide us, to stay us in a low frequency, that we will not get the answer that we all want. We all came from the same source. We all work the same God. We all say Amen. Why? Why we all say Amen? Why we all work the same God? Who is this God? Where is He? And when we understand that there is no such thing as evil and good, like there is fear and there is love, and this is the opposite frequency of our existence. But when we understand that we need to combine those two, and understand that we need to be in the middle and take all the existence of the souls, and understand that if we want to be a whole humankind that is not divided and become whole with ourselves, we have first to be in peace with ourselves inside, and then to go for peace outside of us with others.
But you can't be in peace inside of you.
Exactly.
Because you are blasted with all these noises like from the media, from the population over here, that is also humans are like bees. They are always buzzing the same thing that the queen is telling them. And the queen and the kingdom actually is the institute that is telling them this and this and this, and they are just spreading the word like without analyzing it. And I think that we understood that when the vaccination started over here, and as evidence, you can see that Israel is the number one country in the world. They got
vaccinated, and we're heading to the fourth one.
And in Israel, there is the highest rate of population that got vaccinated, and although that Pfizer and everybody
telling them that this is experience.
This is an experiment. Israel, you are part of an experiment, and everybody just ran to the hospital to get the shot. Now, the issue here is not the vaccination. I really don't care about this. Everybody has a choice to do what he wants. This is their soul's choice to do it. But this is like a narrative that is mandated here since the beginning. The narrative is that the population over here is following the institute like in blind eyes, and doing like everything that the institute is telling them without analyzing nothing.
Without asking questions, without doubt.
Asking any question about nothing. They're like doing it. I remember that I was in the military, and after you're released from the military from the age of 18 to 21, then you have to come every year to do like exercise and
training.
The reserve army, they call it, okay, every year. And if there's a war, you just come and, you join the war because you have to. There's a war. Somebody is attacking you, whether it's Syria, Lebanon, or Gaza like a million times. And you don't even ask, you just arrive and you come, all the people come in with really high motivation to fight. They don't really know who they are fighting against. And I remember I was recruited like 4 times.
I think
in a
more.
Special operation, like they call you at night and then come in the morning.
I used to lose my voice when he gone for I don't know how much time I used to lose my voice because I was in so much stress.
And this is an example. The whole family gets into stress because you go to war. You might get killed. This is the situation. Now, I was there like 4 times in 4 different operations and wars. And on the 3rd time, I said, what the hell is this? This is stupid. Like every 3 years, I get pulled out from my life, my private life, to fight against, I don't know who even is on the other side, who runs them, who operated them. And on the 3rd time that I was there, I felt like somebody is playing poker over here and he's doing like all in, like they recruited everybody they can fight on the streets, like, let's go, we're going to fight. I think it was Gaza. Yeah, it was Gaza.
It's always Gaza.
It's always Gaza, or it's Lebanon if they feel like to push that button on the north. And on that time, I decided that this is the last time that I'm going to come. And there was a 4th one. And on the 4th one, I told my commander that that's it. It's over for me. It's over for me.
I'm not coming.
I'm not blaming you or something like that. I'm not telling you that I'm, going to do it like in a really nasty way. But it really looks stupid to me. Really stupid to fight against somebody like nothing when I'm being played like on board of checkmate that somebody uses to move the soldiers on the board.
And on the other side, there is also peoples and family in Gaza and children also in our sides, of course, but they play with both sides. They play the good and the evil. And that's the way to control everybody.
Okay. Now, in Israel, they don't like people like me talking about that situation, especially about the army. It's a very unacceptable way to talk about the army because the army is like a saint over here.
This is what keeps Israel existence.
Yes.
This and the U.S. Yeah.
We are protecting our borders and blah, 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 blah. But that's not the issue over here. The issue is that I started asking questions. That was before my spiritual awakening. Now, today, it looks really, really ridiculous. And I started asking questions. That was the main thing that we as humans are supposed to do because we have a brain. Unlike, animals, they are coded. They are genetically coded to do. I don't think they have a choice. They're like, cats, dogs.
I think they doing what's for their highest good, but their consciousness level is different than yours.
And the difference is that we have a will. We have, we can choose.
We can create.
We can think. That's our evolution. We can create something from our mind. And as long as we are depending on somebody else to, give us the solution.
The answers.
So we're not going to find the answers. And this is the main thing over here, that the population over here are, they are regulated to not think by themselves. They are, our parents, they lived in a pretty messed up war situation more than us. Yeah. And they thought that the Institute is going to take care of everything for them. That was the situation then. But we are our generation.
We're the chosen one. The chosen people that have inside of us some kind of DNA, specific genes that makes us different. It's not like that as I seeing that, right? Everybody is equal.
The chosen
people of the Jewish people, which is ridiculous now when I think about it. It's a genius program to how to take people, humankinds, and engineer them in your codes in a different, that they will act in a way of. I think people try
it's an experiment over here. Let's face it.
Yeah,
it's an experiment.
I think people try to find the answer outside of them. There will be a shayach, or there will be somebody outside of them that come and help them to get through this whole situation. And they're still in that mode. If you can see in the media, in Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. They all like pumping that this is the will of God and He will come and help us and everything is going to be okay. They try to they don't take responsibility for who they are. They try to...
The people.
Yeah,
the people.
Of course.
Okay.
They try to put this outside of them and try to look for somebody that come and help them.
But this is like a program over here that was coded for years. This is an experiment. That's what we are saying, that Israel is an experiment. They took a bunch of people from all around the world. Part of them went through the Holocaust, as we know, and we are passing our encoding in generations, especially the Holocaust guys. And we have the other population that are from the Arab, all the Muslim countries that came over here as Jewish, and they coded everybody over here under a program that they are the chosen people.
This is the Holy Land.
This is the Holy Land, and then we have to protect. And the narrative over here is that we have to fight every 3-4 years. But don't worry, the government is going to take care of you, and it's going to...
in the name of God, they like fighting all the time, which is...
The thing is that we are, different than animals. And that's the thing that we didn't understand in our evolution here in Israel, that we have a way to think, we have willpower, and we have a different choice to choose to start thinking maybe, okay, it's allowed to think that maybe we have a different choice. That is different from all the programs that we were encoded inside our bodies, embedded inside our bodies and our mind, that we are not allowed to think otherwise than what the Institute is telling you to think. Because if you think otherwise, you are violating all the status quo of Israel. Like you are violating the property of your friends and family because you're thinking different. And that's the main issue over here. That's the main thing that's keeping all the population over here in such a low vibration, because we are encoded and we don't think that we can think otherwise than what we were taught.
I think they are like divided people in Israel, in all around the world, but in Israel, they divided us, and when they divided us, they can control us. And I think more people, like young people from the Arabs and Israeli,
the millennials,
exactly, they like now think, okay, so many wars, so many blood. Maybe we should stop to doing that. And I know personally lots of Arabs, young ones, which are amazing people with beautiful hearts, and they are amazing people that think different. They think that we should change the narrative here in Israel. We should change our thoughts. We shouldn't let them divide us anymore. We should come together and unite and say, that's it, no more. We are not buying all these wars. We're not coming to this operation in Gaza because the Hamas is exactly like Israel, and all this terror attacks come straight from the Israeli government, and people start to be awake more and more. And I think when the years will pass, people will understand that there is no such things as Israel. And Israel, I think, coming to life after the Holocaust in a specific purpose, which we will, I think, understand more in the couple of those years. When
the information will be exposed.
Exactly. And I think people will start to be aware of all those thoughts that we are.
Now, the people that are watching this show, will ask, okay, we understand Israel, blah, 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 blah. You are living in that, this and that and that. There are other countries all over the world that, more of the same are living. They have governments. They are ruling like in a really harsh way.
Yeah, but it's not like in Israel. We
But
are like a small country with enemies around us.
But the question is, why? Why governments all over the world
divide us
and try to control and manipulate and think that this is okay to do that, like on a daily basis?
I will tell you why.
And I will tell you later why I think.
I think people are more understand that Israel is a religious place, the Holy Land. Everybody wants to take a part of these small spots, very small, of this world. And when you put people and surrounding them with enemies that wants to take control over those places, the holy places, this is the essence of the religious part in all around the world. And if you're keeping this area, and the U.S. always protect us, give us money.
No, they use us as a base in the Middle Eastern. It's obvious.
Yeah, of course. And when I think in the Bible it says that from Israel the light will come. Of course, from Israel the light will come, because in Israel there is much more darkness, I think, and maybe I sound like really.
It's not that there are, really actual wars and missiles.
No, we live in a beautiful place. We live by the beach. It's not like everything is scary over there. But of course, because we are,
if you watch the media, then you're going to come to Israel, and then you're gonna, my God, who's going to attack me? You will walk with like a helmet and be afraid that somebody's going to attack you. If you're going to watch the Israeli news,
they plant and seeds of religious part. That everybody with their eyes on us, everybody is keeping Israel. Why it's so important to keep Israel? Because Israel is the essence of the religious part of the whole world, and everybody wants to keep it. Why everybody wants to keep it? Because if you keep the religious part, you can control people. You can divide. You can make wars. You can make separation between us. Okay,
so it's a matter of control and keeping the population in survival. To control them, it's easier to control and manipulate citizens, population, humans, when they are under fear and anxiety, and when you convince them that the institute is the real thing. It will never betray you.
They chose you.
Think about it. There are a lot of people here in Israel that are, they're serving in the military like 25 years. So to tell this guy that has served the military until the age of 45, or the Shabak, which is the FBI of Israel, to tell them that the institute is lying is like, what are you, crazy? That's like a fictionary. It's like a
movie.
A movie. You're not living in a movie. This is Israel, and we have enemies. But the thing is, this is the system. This is the way to control people. And by the way, it's a genius way to control people because it's working. And the main issue over here is that if they're not going to do that, they just don't have a job.
They don't have identity, actually, because if you live until age 45, that you think you're doing the best to protect your family, and we are the chosen one, and Israel must be protected all the time, and then everything about this concept is not really true. So who are we? So then you start asking questions, and people don't want to get into the unknown and ask questions. They want to keep and maintain the same thoughts, the same behavior, and stay in the same state because this is what they are know. To get them into a new path of a new kind of reality, that will takes to be very brave, and nature, I think, loves and brave people that step into to the unknown and begin the journey from the unknown. And this is, I think, the most challenging spiritual way that Israel will have to take step, the Israelis.
And if we're talking spiritual wise, so the spiritual world, let's say it like that, likes to be in balance. And now we have imbalance, meaning the darkness is more, is controlling over here. Then we have to balance it. Now you see it all. This is all of the world, not only in Israel. So when the universe or nature or the cosmos or whatever you want to call it is identifying that there is imbalance, so it tries to balance it. Now we have the COVID, and the COVID pushes everybody to the corner, and a lot of people all over the world, besides Israel, beside
there
this place,
there is few.
Yeah, there's
you cannot
few
say
of them,
everybody,
but
think about
the people here that woke up, okay, and think they are in their spiritual path, are in the spiritual of fear. Now, that's one way to wake up.
Through fear,
yeah, and they are always in anxiety. It's like different fear, and it's part of the manipulation, like believing QAnon or something fake like that. That
divided
again, it's dividing. They hate the other side.
They want to kill them.
They are in fear and anxiety and real anger and frustration. And this is not a spiritual awakening. This is like stupid awakening, because, if you are in a situation like this, you don't understand who you are and what you're doing to yourself. Now, it's not their fault. We were there for, I think, maybe 1 month. And then we understood this is not fun to live like that when you think that the whole world is going to collapse. This is what happened in the beginning of COVID. But then we understood that this is the different way that we can choose otherwise, and we chose otherwise, and we are in a different way. So the universe, the earth is trying to balance this, and COVID is here and is pushing people all in the darkest,
reflections of their life.
They lost their jobs.
But when
they experienced something that never happened, like a pandemic. Okay.
Yeah. But when we started the journey in the COVID, when it was just the beginning, I was having a post in Facebook that said, "Corona, my love." Nobody understand me. I said, "How can you say my love about this virus? How can you say that?" So I explained, listen, we need that. We need that darkness, because this is the only way that people will be awake to the situation, to the reality that takes place, the reality of the matrix, which is the matrix is us. It's not something bad. The people that control the matrix just make it very hard for us to live. But the matrix, actually, it's us. It's the existence. It's the particles of the atoms. It's us. Okay. It's all spirit. There is no such thing as materials and spirit. Everything is spirit. Everything is divine and source and light. And we started the journey in the corona, and people don't really understand what I'm saying, that it's good that everybody will be in stress. And I say, okay, we have a long way. Just wait.
Really long way.
Just wait until they start vaccinated all the people, and people start laughing at me. You crazy? It takes 17 years until they can develop vaccines for some kind of disease. So what are you talking about? And I say, wait until, and when it happened, please don't get the vaccine. People will start laughing about me. And here we are in the fourth injections that we all.
But like I said before, the vaccine is not an issue over here.
And it's not a bad thing.
This is part of the main thing over here, that we have a process of evolution that is affecting all over the world, not only one continent. It's all over the world, and this is the process that the earth is trying to balance over here. And this is causing a lot of people to wake up from the illusion that is called the matrix, that is called like the reality, because when we are in such a pain mode, like a stress mode, like we were, so this is the beginning of a spiritual awakening. When you start, you know what? Let's not call it a spiritual awakening. You start questioning your reality. You start questioning your identity, because identity is like what is creating your separation from one another. If I'm Jewish and you are Christian, then we're separated. We're not one. And it's really, really stupid when you think about it today.
It's only a matter of thoughts, because your thoughts create your ego, and your ego is combined with rules and instructions that you collect all over your life. And when you collect your behavior, your patterns of thoughts, you start analyze, I think, in the spiritual mode, you start analyze every thought that flew into your mind, and you said, okay, if I am the creator and I am the source and I belong to that part of the light, and there is that darkness, I choose differently. I choose to be in the light, and I don't choose to be in a victim mode and be scared all the time, and be in a mode that you cannot create all your energy go and flow to one part of your body, to one part of the chakras of your body, and there is not enough energy to create anymore. And when me and Roni, understand that we should change our thoughts, we should change our reality, everything in our life took a different kind of angle and reflection. And of course, our families.
We change everything.
We change everything, the way we talk, the way we eat, the way we, the way we connect with this world. Our
identity as a family changed like entirely until people didn't know what we are anymore, and because our identity was erased totally.
I think one thing is to understand that the matrix is really us. The matrix build us. The net of the matrix is us, and we can change it by the way we think, by the way we act about it, but by the way we choose to feel differently. And we started to feel differently and act differently. The thing is that the black and the white and the yin and the yang and the plus and the minus is all one. Everything is connected to one. And when you combine between those two, and if you're going to say about those people that doing those stuff, the governments, we hate them, we want to hang them, we need to kill them all, it will not bring a solution to our existence. It will only divide us more. And when you wake up through this fear and you want revenge, you are not in a balanced mode.
Let me rephrase that. If they wouldn't cause this thing, you wouldn't be watching this video and hearing this stuff. Okay, so they have a job in this evolution, in this cosmos,
and we appreciate them. Yeah,
they are doing it.
In the Bible, it says that there is good angels and bad angels. The bad angels, it's not really an angel, it's an energy. It's an entity with an energy. But the bad angels, their job is to bring that chaos to our evolution, for us to understand that, okay, so much darkness. Only in the darkness you can grasp more light into yourself. And when there is a lot of darkness outside of you and inside of you, you can understand that you want something different. You want to take for yourself more light. And I think it's a good thing. And when the Corona started, and even now, we said, okay, that's good. Bring us more dark So people will start to wake up for the whole situation that the humanity lived for a long time, for a very long time.
But it's not happening over here. It's gonna probably
it happens, but not in a good. Yeah.
And we said the reason over here is because the population over here is regulated to live in fear and stress.
And they're really
and
afraid.
Anxiety.
They're really
Exactly.
afraid. They're like, everybody's really afraid here.
Now, let's say it like this: Israeli that will hear this video that will listen to this video and watch this, they will say, you are not correct.
They will be pissed on us, I think.
No, they say you're not correct. Everything is okay. It's okay to live like that. And you are the one that is thinking in a really radical way. And it's okay. It's their perspective. Because they accepted that this is a normal way to live. This is a normal way of life.
This is the system
that your own property, that is your body, is violated. Like, let's say money is in your house and your food. This is like a whole concept of property that all humans, like, they are always keeping throughout the history. But the only property that we are talking about is our body, that, this is ours. And now it's being violated in all over the world. And over here, they're saying, okay, it's okay that our only property that is us, that our body is going to be violated. It's okay. It's a normal stage. It's a normal, I don't know how to call it. Now, that's okay that they think like that, but it's their body. And if I'm thinking differently, then I'm there. No, it's not okay. Now, if it's only a way of thought and a way of life, it's okay. Everybody can live. You can do that. I can do this. This is a free country. But it's not free anymore, because when I say I want to do everything with my body and nobody should touch it, then it became a problem to them. And this is the main issue over here. Okay, the main issue is that people started to fight over this, and it's become
inside
the argument of the day. Okay, and it's all over the world. And I think in conclusion that it's going to take some time for the Israeli population to wake up. It's going to take some time, maybe a few years, maybe they're not.
I don't think it's going to take years, because the darkness is coming, and really, really fast. And I think, like it says in the Bible, which is half of it is true and some part of it is amazing. I'm not saying the whole concept of the religious is wrong. There is a lot of gift over there, because they take they take a lot of
ideas,
histories and ideas, and put it in one book, so you can relate to both sides, for the evils and for the bad sides and for the good sides. For the good side. But I think in Israel, when the darkness will be really dark through Israel, all the darkness will come and all the lights will come straight away through Israel, because people will start, I think, waking up.
I think it's not a process of waking up. It's understanding that identities are the main issue that is keeping us separated, because, on the media, besides all the thing with the wars and everything, they always try to divide the population inside of Israel, like the religious and the non-religious, the teachers, the cops, the soldiers, the politicians. They always try to present a certain population identity as the bad or the worse or the stupid, like in a very radical way. And they can put like a picture beside of them.
Even Bennett says that he wants the parents will start the parents, he want the parents to start
fighting one
against each other to make them take the vaccine, which is here. They saying it in front of you, and they choose to be with their eyes closed. I think when you used to suffer so much for so many years, you said there is only one existence of suffering. There is no such thing as happiness and joy. And when we talk about a different existence of reality, they said, okay, you like crazy. There is no such thing as happiness and joy all day long. You need to be with your legs on the ground and be grounded and know that there is work and there is wars and these things happens all along this history of the humankind, and this is a normal thing. But if you think about it, what is a normal state of human being? What is it?
I think nobody here or all over the world is thinking about the normal, or you're supposed to have fun in your life. You're supposed to experience what
More
your
fun.
soul is, trying to achieve on your incarnation in this cycle. And people have forgotten this, and the identification that everybody carries on themselves is creating much more separation. And it's okay. It's our evolution. But we have come to an end that the separation is causing us to suffer a lot. And it's our perspective that we have come to an enlightenment or conclusion or the knowledge that we can live differently. And we are doing it.
Yeah.
We are living in a very different way than most of, our friends, our families. And it's our choice.
We don't have any friends anymore, Roni.
We don't have any friends because our identity...
They left us.
The identity of the old us is left behind, and we have new friends that are equal to our vibration. And this is the main issue over here. Identities create separation, and the identity over here in Israel is like implemented hardcore every day that keeps separation. And this is the main reason why they are winning. They are winning, and the consciousness level over here is as low as possible.
But that's okay. That's
okay.
fine.
Yeah,
we are
okay.
seeing the light in the end of the tunnel. This is the evolution, as Roni said, because I think through the darkest point, you can see the brightest light. And I believe that when we get to the point that it will be so much darkness, and I don't think the whole humankind will survive this evolution. And that's okay, because there is no such thing as to be dead and to be alive. Everything is alive, and it's just a matter of perspective.
So I think that's it for this show, this podcast.
Yeah.
This is our evolution. This is the soul's, the collective choice to develop ourselves, to develop our species. And this is our process, and we have to respect it. Not that we have a choice, but...
We have a choice.
No, not that we have a choice not to respect it, because if we're not respecting it, then we are creating more separation.
Yeah.
And if somebody's thinking different than you, then it's okay. It's their path. It's their choice. It's their life. It's their will. And even if they want to follow the Institute, it's okay. So this is us. This is our show. This is our podcast. And hopefully that you got some information from inside of Israel. We are changing our life. We are thinking of moving from here, but that is for another podcast. We'll talk about how we changed our reality and started creating from the darkness in the beginning, and how to understand, to rely on our intuition, and how to identify the intuition in this low consciousness level, and start to arise from that, and
expand ourselves.
Expand ourselves. Yeah, something like that.
So thank you for
So thank
everything,
you
for
very
everybody
much.
that's watching. We'll be here more with different issues and subject about us, life, spirit, evolution, and
This
much more.
show is on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and many, many other platforms. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you have a question. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.